folks, Ethan here, also known as the Valorant Liner. Welcome back to my channel. If you guys seen me before, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. So today I'm going to be going over a topic that I've covered before, but for some reason it didn't happen, and you guys probably wondering why the hell it didn't happen in 2025. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about a tornado outbreak prediction that I made all the way back in December 2024, and I actually did make a video about it on January 2025, which was around Christmas. So I made a video about that. If you guys haven't seen that, or if you guys kind of do remember that, that's great. If you guys don't know, I'll give you a quick recap about it. There was supposed to be a Super Tornado Outbreak for 2025. That was what I've got from my spirit guides. So I was like, oh, okay. I guess I'll be ready whenever that occurs, in whatever month that'll be. So I kept letting time go on, and letting weeks pass by each month, and then all of a sudden I was like, are we supposed to get one though? Because I kept thinking in my mind we're supposed to get one, and around back in July I also made an additional video that I got a new update that we were getting a tornado outbreak, like we're gonna get a super outbreak. It was the same topic, the same subject that I've spoken back in January. So I did make a video about that if you guys have not seen that, if you guys do remember that. So yeah, I made an update video about that it was on the way, and I was like, okay, if this is getting real serious, now I'm gonna be ready for this. And then we come up to December, and I'm like, wait, I don't see any weather forecast models showing any severe weather. I don't see any thunderstorms from other meteorologist creators that are making these update videos about snow and other things in this country. I don't see anything crazy going on. So I'm like, I'm very worried, because we get to Christmas Eve and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. I don't get it. I'm like, I'm panicking here, and there's a reason why I'm panicking, because I feel like I'm gonna be called like a fraudulent psychic medium or weather psychic, because I said all this stuff to you guys way back in the beginning, and I'm like, I better communicate with my spirit guides about this, because I'm actually very anxious and very worried about this. So I decided to, around like maybe a little past Christmas Eve, to do like very, very heavy channeling to understand what's going on, because I didn't understand what was going on. So why did it not occur in December 2025, which it was supposed to be in December? So there I go and doing heavily channeling. I focus heavily on that just to take it easy, trying to be real patient about my answers from my spirit guides. So I did all that, and I asked them, was it supposed to occur in 2025? And the answer was that they kept giving me 2026. I was like, wait, didn't you guys say it was supposed to be in December 2025? And they said yes. So I kept like trying to think of like understand what the problem was, and turns out I kept getting this in my mind that my higher self was telling me that I kept having this feeling called setup. I'm like, wait, was everything a setup? Like not a foolish setup, like I've been set up just to be scammed, like not that type of setup. Like it was more like that everything that was occurring, all these things in the atmospheric conditions that were occurring, because we had a disruptive polar vortex in December, and it's still going on. The polar vortex is very disruptive, and we actually, in my state, we had very cold blasts of Arctic air, which made everything around me so cold. which I managed to survive that. So anyway, we had that going on. So I was like, was everything that was a setup, like the entire year 2025, was everything a setup that will pretty much orchestrate everything that will come to this point? And it told me, yes, you figured it out. That was the other piece of the mystery puzzle that I didn't understand at first. So everything that I've been seeing was a complete test for me as a weather psychic. So even though it didn't occur, it was a test. And I'm surprised I was able to figure this out like right away. I thought it would take like a couple days for me to understand of how everything was going to be orchestrated to come to this event, which will be in 2026 is what we're coming up to. So the polar vortex that is disrupted up in north, that does play a critical role. I did ask this before I was going to make this video. It does play a critical role for the Super Tornado Outbreak. And the Gulf of Mexico does play a critical role for the massive fuel for severe thunderstorms, including for tornado potential. It does play a role. So what I'm getting is that everything that's occurring right now, though, will lead up to the Super Tornado Outbreak. Now, is it still occurring, though, if you guys are still wondering? Yes, it is still ongoing. It's still on course as we speak. It's still going. And how badly, like, how deadly is this gonna be like? So, you guys can be very surprised about this, but up in this screen I'm about to show you guys, I have documented every piece of info, like from day to day, though. Like sometimes I'll get spiritual ringing, either my right or my left, doesn't matter. I always get that. So I'm like, okay, what's going on now? And I'm like, okay, I want to meditate to see what's going on. They remind me of the Super Tornado Outbreak probability chances we're going to keep increasing. And you guys might be questioning, that's very exaggerating if you guys gonna tell me about that, which I would agree. That sounds very exaggerated when I see these number percentages were super high. But my spirit guides, they're not lying. Like, this is like dead serious right now. Like, so this is gonna get really bad though, and my spirit guides did tell me this though, that this Super Tornado Outbreak that's coming up for 2026, it's gonna be much more deadlier than 2011, 2011, and it's gonna be much greater and far worse than 1974, which I don't have a lot of info about that. I heard a little bit about the 1974 Super Tornado Outbreak. I heard it was very catastrophic, much more worse than 2011. So yeah, it's going to be worse than those two other years that we had in history. So be prepared for that, for you guys, because and you guys might be wondering, where is this going to take place though? It's going to take place still in Dixie Alley. I did actually mention that in my previous update video, which I didn't really do a lot of update videos because it wasn't necessary for me to keep making update videos that much. So I was like, keep this to myself and keep warning you guys and keep documenting that I've shown you guys right now. So I'm still getting these updates over time, but whenever my spirits want me to know something, I will immediately start meditating to get more further evidence of what's going on. But anyway, so it may look like I kind of fooled you guys, but I'm telling you guys right now that everything that happened all the way back in 2025, the entire span of 2025, was a setup for me to understand that everything that will be orchestrated will lead to something much bigger in the meantime. So right now, usually around in the spring, around April or May, that's where the tornado activity will be at its peak, at its highest. And it's usually around those 2 months that usually occur for almost every year. But that's, I'm pretty sure, I'm speculating that could be when the Super Tornado Outbreak could occur. but we don't know yet. But I'm speculating. Anyway, hopefully you guys found this very helpful. I know this was very questionable for me to tell you guys that it didn't really happen 2025 in December, which I thought it was going to be December, but everything was a complete test for me as a weather psychic. So I'm glad I actually figured that out. I'm actually a bit surprised myself that I was able to figure this out because I didn't quite understand it, and I was so afraid to be called a fraud in the beginning. But they told me, no, you're not going to be called a fraud in this because they're not lying, and everything is on course of what's going on right now. So, okay, with everything out of the way, hopefully you guys found this very enlightening and very helpful to you guys to understand about what's going to happen for this year. Long light to all of you guys, and as always, stay shiny out there. I'll see you guys next time.